Every white belt wants the gym they can call not only a home, but a citadel of BJJ knowledge.
We're just making them a better athlete, and then they come here, train, get better at jiu-jitsu on top of it, so.
A school.
Way too high sometimes.
Where they can replicate and teach the moves, technique,
he does that very well, just like that.
Kenta Emoto with the takedown, Mika Gavone.
and skill they have seen on YouTube.
A lot of Who's Number One matches.
And grappling matches. To bring these high expectations into fruition, different schools have come up with various ways to teach BJJ in a way that is efficient, fun, and still goal-driven.
Best camp in the world.
While every school has a specific methodology that makes them unique from other BJJ schools, it begs the question, which teaching methods are the best? Is there a better way? Or does it just depend on you? While some BJJ schools have different teaching curriculums to bring white belts up to speed,
Yeah, I think, the modern jiu-jitsu, the people compete and stuff, they pretty much start to practicing jiu-jitsu based on the rule sets of the tournament.
you might be surprised some jiu-jitsu schools are simply not for beginners. Let's take a minute and see how some of the best schools in the world teach their white belts. For Gracie Barra BJJ School, the learning program is broken down into 4 organized and correlated curriculum, where each has a specific importance to the growth of the students in BJJ. Just like most traditional Gracie schools, the first curriculum is the introductory class, which comprises Jiu-Jitsu self-defense strategy, after which they will be enrolled in the second curriculum, known as the GB1 Jiu-Jitsu Fundamentals program, which will last about 4 months. This is followed by the 8-month GB2 Advanced Jiu-Jitsu program, which will give the student the knowledge and maturity to enroll in the next program, which is the GB3 Expert Jiu-Jitsu program. This is where the students will have to learn the art of Jiu-Jitsu to the extent they can develop their own BJJ game. Techniques and strategy. Unlike Gracie Barra, which is more sport jiu-jitsu based with a touch of self-defense, Gracie University is mainly based on self-defense. Not only that, it has a structured online program where you can learn as though you were training at their headquarters. Also, to verify if you are doing each technique the right way.
GST is the fastest growing defensive tactics course in America.
There are technique proficiency tests conducted where you upload videos of yourself conducting each technique on their website. To move from white belt after completing a segment of the curriculum will require you to take a belt test in one of the Gracie University's designated certified training centers all around the world. As a self-defense jiu-jitsu, Gracie University made sure to cover all the aspects of self-defense BJJ, including using punches in many of their programs, such as Gracie Combatives.
I got a chance to check out Gracie Combatives 2.0. I got to check it out months ago. It's amazing. Henner and Hiron, they did it again. 2 of the greatest minds in jiu-jitsu. Make sure to check it out. Cutting edge, jiu-jitsu, and self-defense. You will love it.
Gracie Bully Proof.
If it happens, the measures to neutralize the bully, control the bully, and put an end to it. Put out the fire without creating more fire, right?
Woman Empowered and Master Cycle.
2 months at a time, learning, focusing, mastering, and really specializing in each position before moving on to the next one.
Yes, they are renowned for their self-defense, but do not underestimate their sport jiu-jitsu as well. 10th Planet, on the other hand, is far from the conventional BJJ Gracie schools. Almost everything about jiu-jitsu is way different. For 10th Planet, it is primarily focused on MMA and submission-based forms of grappling. As Eddie Bravo also pioneered submission-based only competition in combat jiu-jitsu. Basically, students are taught a street-style defense-oriented BJJ that can be used not only on the mat, but in whatever scenarios would require the use of BJJ for self-defense. Not forgetting that 10 Planet classes are broken into 5. They are beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes. Then, there are wrestling and EBI overtime classes, since wrestling is now an advantage in BJJ. It is quite impressive that Eddie has a separate class for it. Also, for the EBI overtime class, students will be taught how to escape and finish the 2 positions that they could find themselves in if they are not able to finish their opponent in EBI competitions.
Right to the back, already threatening with the strangulation here, gets that right hand behind the neck.
Templated is 100% no-gi school. Also, Eddie believes that drilling techniques are very important in his teaching style. So if you're a white belt, you have to be ready to drill, drill, and drill if you want to start at Templated. This BJJ school has a measured technique and skill that each of their students in each belt system needs to know. Without this, they won't be able to move on to the next belt.
You have an amount of techniques, white to blue, that you have to know to pass the test. You get a blue belt, and then you get a purple belt, brown, and eventually black.
Pasted on the wall is a list of techniques, moves that a class of a specific belt must master. This way of tutoring is very specific and streamlined, enabling the student to maintain focus on their BJJ journey. So in each class, students look at the sheet and learn specific techniques. The professor is always there to help the student improve if they have any questions. Then, you keep on drilling your moves until they become part of you. This style of teaching could be interesting for many new white belts. Not every school is curriculum or structured guided, and these are not beginner friendly. Some BJJ schools go with the flow. Rolling in the first day of enrolling in a gym could be chaotic for some.
You don't even know anything, and you were doing that. What did it feel like getting into that with no actual foundation to count on?
Chaotic, trying to incorporate the lesson you learned that day, but it's like...
Some fairly old students will love to take advantage of the newbies.
A few of the guys were just like, come on, let's roll. And they didn't even try to explain anything. They were just trying to use me as their dummy, put me in locks or submission.
Go hard on them and ruin the reputation of BJJ as a not-so-gentle sport. You see, not every school is beginner-friendly. Schools like John Danaher's New Wave Jiu-Jitsu and Craig Jones' B-Team are not for those who are just starting out in BJJ. You must have reached a level of BJJ fundamentals to be able to train in these gyms. But what are these fundamentals that a BJJ school has to teach you? Is it defense only or a certain submission? Nowadays, there are various criteria according to each BJJ school, but this doesn't take away from the fact that there are 3 general skills an average white belt moving to blue belt should have been taught, no matter the school. One of which is the ability to escape.
What is the value of escape? It's the first skill that every jiu-jitsu student must master.
And defend out of bad positions when rolling with white belts or recently ranked blue belts like yourself.
You can come out and fire with all guns blazing, because then you know at the end of the day, no one's going to hold you down, no one's going to pass you guard.
The second skill that every BJJ school must have taught their students is how to effectively win from either the top or bottom position.
You should be equally effective in both. And if you're in a situation where you can only win when you're on top, it's going to be hard for me to grade you as a blue belt.
Although you can have your preferences, it shouldn't take away from the fact that being versatile from top and bottom is very important.
He taps out, it's good night, Irene!
Not only are you able to escape bad positions, but you should also be able to dish it out. For the third requirement, BJJ gyms must be able to have mentored the white belt students to the extent that he could come up with somewhat of a game plan to submit his peers. Enrolling and training in the right gym that suits your BJJ goals is the most important step at the beginning of your BJJ, and a week's trial or an inquiry to the school methodology and teaching should be the major factor that determines if you are sticking to the school. Which school method and ideology of BJJ do you prefer? Is there a different school where you love their method of teaching? Let me know in the comments. And as you can see, there are many ways to learn Jiu-Jitsu as a white belt, but which is the best way for you? Hope you enjoyed the video. See you later.